Good afternoon, folks. We've got two critical things to cover in this update, all stemming from the revelation we got in the journals this week and which we shared in this morning's show. In this video, we will review the current Heinrich event, the climatological arm of the ongoing Earth changes, and what we can expect on that front moving forward. Second, we will draw back and see how this all fits into the bigger picture of the 6,000 and 12,000 year cycles. The climate shift is only one aspect, and we'll go over all the others in this video. So this morning, we saw the paper demonstrating that the current Greenland ice loss, which cools and freshens the oceans, is equivalent to the previous instances of Heinrich events. We've suggested this before, and now we have confirmation here. Now, the paper does seek to quell fear by saying that there probably won't be enough ice to create the full Heinrich event, at least not on its own. And while there is reason to suggest that is a massively erroneous statement, I will play devil's advocate and give it to them, because indeed, it's not alone. The Atlantic meridional overturning circulation is the thing they are worried will be impacted. It is collapsing now, as you may have heard. And earlier this year, the Weather Channel reminded everyone that collapse is how you get the super cold and rapid shift seen in the Hollywood movie The Day After Tomorrow. Just based on the currently ongoing rate of collapse, scientists predict that this is going to occur around the 2040s or 2050s, but again, that's if everything stays as it is. For those who are new to the channel, yes, the more and faster we warm, the faster and colder Earth will eventually kick back the other way in a self-correction. So if more ice melts, if heating continues, then that deadline moves up, and as we said before, it's not going to be working alone. The Beaufort Gyre, what Yale University called the cold climate bomb waiting to be unleashed, has accumulated a record-shattering amount of that cold fresh water, and according to their Woods Hole Institute, as of right now, it could unleash at any time. When that happens, it will double the rate of collapse of the Atlantic circulation and put us into the 2030s as a deadline for that rapid shift to cold. It can't hold forever, the gyre, and it will release in the coming years. So yes, as we have suggested before, we are on the verge of another Heinrich event. The last one, 6,000 years ago, is technically classified as a tropical hydroclimate event, since they like to give interglacial events different names than the same thing that happened in a glacial cycle. But it was indeed the same thing. The peak heat of the Holocene 6,000 years ago triggered the event, which included the greenest of the green Saharan periods on record. The vast desert of the Sahara turned to lush. But at that same time, something else was happening. The magnetic field was dropping in strength. While paleo-intensity stacks never line up perfectly, you can see that dip across nearly every record around that 6,000 to 7,000 years ago mark. It wasn't until last year that it was officially called a minor geomagnetic excursion, a mini magnetic pole shift, first from Chinese sediments and then confirmed by another in Russia, supporting all those other stacks we saw moments ago. Around the same time, the Heinrich events were being proven to be tied to major solar activity, making for a solar, climate, geomagnetic trifecta of changes that happen very rapidly and all at the same time, again, on a 6,000-year cycle. The scientists were then able to isolate the solar aspect of this and confirm that the most dramatic super-flaring outbursts near X1000 range are likely to occur on about a 6,000-year cycle. So when we put this all together over time, what does it tell us? Well, have a look at this chart. We've got the 6,000-year events, which actually peak to a higher event every other cycle, every 12,000 years, and we've got them all listed here as far back as they are confirmed. The 12,000-year bigger events have much more confidence when we get back past about 50,000 years ago in time. You should notice a few things. There is a Heinrich event every 6,000 years. Recall that the one 6,000 years ago was the first outside of a glacial cycle, so it's often called a tropical hydroclimate event instead. There's evidence of that solar cycle hitting each time, with every 12,000-year event having those micronova isotopes suggesting an even higher gear for the sun. And yes, there were magnetic pole shifts, geomagnetic excursions at each stage of this as well. We've got the official names of them over on the right. And so this is the trifecta: solar, geomagnetic, climate. And the 6,000-year cycle is due up again right now, actually the double, the 12,000-year major mark. And the Heinrich event, as we heard earlier in the video, and as we've heard many times the last few years, it is ongoing, building with the ice loss and the impending gyre release, which will collapse the ocean currents. The sun is due, and strange changes are already being seen in its magnetic field and coronal chemistry, and of course, Earth's magnetic field is currently weakening, faster and faster, all of these happening right on time, every sign we need to see. Now don't you dare start typing in the comment section. Have you done the homework on this? It's listed right below the video. It's called Catastrophe Evidence. It will answer the next 100 questions you have. Trust me, been doing this a long time. This is what it's all about. Get caught up with that background information, subscribe, and I'll see you in the morning for the daily show. Be safe, everyone.